Hi everyone, welcome to Real Life 101, the show that helps you get a jump on planning your future career. Today we have 3 totally different jobs to show you, but they all have one thing in common. They involve serving your community. First, we'll meet a chaplain who works in a hospital bringing peace and comfort to patients and their families. For those of you interested in criminal justice, we'll meet a man who is the Chief Probation Officer in a federal court and learn about the probation system. And finally, we'll visit a nursing home and see how an activities director and her dog keep the patients occupied and enjoying life. Whichever way of helping others you may be interested in, you're sure to enjoy the next half hour with us on Real Life 101. We're the hosts of Real Life 101. Have you ever had someone you care about be admitted to the hospital? It can be a scary ordeal for both you and your loved one. Having someone there who can reassure you that God is watching over the situation and you are not alone is a very calming feeling. Lewis recently met with Mark Stoddart, a hospital chaplain. He learned how a patient's faith is very important in their healing process.
So tell me, what do you really do?
What do I do? I'm the senior chaplain at Florida Hospital Altamont, and I have primary responsibility for organizing pastoral care here at the hospital. That is to make sure that pastoral care is available for patients, families, visitors, and also staff needs as well.
What made you go into this work?
That's a long story. I don't know if you have time for that. But I pastored for 10 years prior to coming into this. And prior to becoming a pastor, I completed the requirements for pastoral care. It's called clinical pastoral education. But for some reason, I moved into the parish ministry. I spent a lot of time visiting people in their homes, in the hospital, and nursing homes, whatnot, hanging out with young people, where they like to hang out. And I found that my ministry had more impact at a personal level rather than, as the evangelist or the pulpiteer or so forth. And I just had felt drawn to this particular kind of work.
Did you go to school for this?
Yeah. I have a bachelor's in theology and a master's of divinity. And of course, the clinical preparation for this is called clinical pastoral education. I have 4 units of that, which is, I guess, the minimum requirement for hospital chaplains. So a cumulative about 8 years of school in order to prepare for this. Being a chaplain is a specialized work and requires some specific training for it. You can't just get up cold and, I've done pastoring in the church. I know how to be a chaplain. It doesn't always translate in every regard. Yeah.
Is it a demanding job?
There are some days that are more demanding than others. I find that if I'm spending my time one-on-one with patients or with staff members, I'm actually energized. The more of that I do, the better I feel, the more accomplished I feel. The more of a pastor I feel. The stuff that gets in my way, I feel, is all of the administrative stuff that you have to do, the paper and the organizing and, all the background stuff. But the volume sometimes of numbers of patients that need to be seen, and, you really want to do a good job and spend the time with the patient or with the family members. And when you have a large number to get through in a day, then you kind of feel, you get a sense that maybe I'm not, giving individuals as much as they need, Those are the times where it gets to be a little bit concerning.
Do you have any advice for anyone interested in your profession?
I would say to anyone that's considering any profession, find something that you love to do, and don't worry about the money. I'm not doing this for the money, that's for sure. But now, if you find something that you're passionate about, something that you have gifts for, you'll be happy doing it. And for someone thinking about coming into pastoral care, if you have a genuine love for people, if you are able to communicate, if you're friendly, if you're compassionate, if you have a heart for God and a heart for His people, then this could be the work for you.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mark.
Thank you.
What a compassionate service Mark provides. If you feel called to help people spiritually in their healing process, this might be a job to consider. Chaplains not only minister to patients during their hospital stay, but after they go home as well. They also run bereavement groups for the loved ones of deceased patients. Clinical pastoral education is available for seminary students and ministers. Students learn about theological issues and the skills that will help them best talk with and support those in need of ministry.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're back with more Real Life.
The process of rehabilitating criminals in our society is quite complex. The Chief Probation Officer in a federal probation department has the responsibility of implementing effective programs for both youth and adults who break a federal law. He or she must also supervise the probation officers who oversee the rehabilitation of offenders to help them become law-abiding citizens of the United States. Carly sat down with David Peñon, a federal chief probation officer, and learned about the U.S. probation system.
So I understand that you are a U.S. probation officer. What do you do?
I'm a deputy chief of with the Middle District of Florida U.S. Probation Department. At my present position, I am responsible for overseeing the supervision portion of it as 2 deputies. I oversee 5 managers that oversee supervision. I'm an assistant to the chief probation officer, and we oversee supervision policies. We also put together policies committees. We ensure that the court's conditions are being complied with, and and that the officers get the proper training and equipment and tools that are necessary for them to do their jobs properly.
And what is your educational background? How did you get into this?
Well, I got a master's degree in public administration from John Jay College in New York City, and also a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Do you actually handle cases, or are you more of management?
No, I'm more of a management position. The officers, we have officers that supervise the cases. Now, the chief probation officer, myself, and the other deputies, if issues surface, such as when it comes to issues of informants or issues of conducting searches for sex offenders, all those cases are staffed and approved by us because we run a check and balance to make sure that we're in compliance with the law, and and when we proceed with these issues, so that we provide the court with proper information.
What kind of cases do you guys supervise?
We supervise probation cases, we supervise what they call supervised release cases, and we supervise military parole cases. Federal crimes, is a wide range. Our officers can deal with bank fraud, medical fraud, drug dealers, gang members, conspiracy cases, organized crime, RICO cases, bank robbery cases. There's a wide range of federal crimes that we supervise. We've also have, offenders that have severe drug problems, mental health problems. We supervise offenders that are in the Witness Protection Program. These are offenders that cooperated with the government in one state, and because there's a contract or they're in danger, they're relocated to our district for us to monitor and supervise and protect their identity.
Do you find that more people are success stories, or are they repeat offenders?
We've had plenty successful cases. I would say maybe 70% may be successful. Now, most of our violations are due to substance abuse issues. They continue to use drugs, and to the point that we try all types of programs. We have what we call sanctions, And you can have an offender that tests dirty so the first time for drugs. And our goal is to try to keep this person in the community, so we'll put them in treatment. And maybe the next time put them in intensive treatment, maybe then try residential, try house arrest. But it may get to the point that the person's out of control, may commit a crime, and we have no choice but to revoke them because of a substance abuse issue. But we don't just violate because of one dirty urine. Then we may have something like 10 or 15% where offenders go out there and commit serious crimes, and we have to revoke them based on that.
What do you find to be the most difficult part about your job?
The most difficult part about my position at this time is that I am part of a panel between our chief and the other deputies in conducting promotions, and we have very high qualified people, and sometimes you have something like 5 very high qualified people for one position, and you have to now make that determination, well, how does this one person beat the other 4 and not lose the morale of the other 4, because it's very important to keep morale high, and opportunities don't come that often. So one of the most difficult tasks for me is the one with promotions.
What advice do you have for someone wanting to get involved in this?
In this career, I would say that they have to be able to have a good balance. This is a job where you have to mix being like having strong social skills with enforcement skills. You got to be compassionate to help someone, not hold a grudge. That's, for example, so I hate all sex offenders. Sometimes you got to be able to put them in treatment, work with them. You also got to be able to monitor people's behavior and deal with the risk issues right away. So you got to have a balance that you're able to deal with people, communicate with people, because many of these offenders, if you don't communicate well with them, what they do is they shut you down, and they don't go on their own and do whatever it is they're going to do. You want somebody to confess to you and be able to have good communication skills to admit to you, you know what, yes, I did do cocaine, because now you beat half that battle. Now you know that the next step is putting them in treatment and helping them. Not that, now I got to keep arguing with with this offender about admit to the drug usage, because, now I'm wasting time. Once you admit to me, I can now use whatever resources we have in our community to help you. So, basically that's the types of things.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sounds like heading a federal probation office is an enormous responsibility. Education required to be a chief probation officer includes having a bachelor or master's degree in social work, criminal justice, or related field. 3 years of specialized experience in investigation, supervision, counseling, and guidance of criminal offenders is customary. A chief probation officer should have good organizational skills in addition to the ability to manage and lead people. If you want to make a difference in the criminal justice system, this might be a job for you.
We're coming right back, I promise. I told you we'd be back.
We've all heard about nursing homes where the patients lie in their beds all day with little or no attention from the staff. Is this the way you would want someone you love treated? Well, fortunately, most nursing homes are realizing the importance of keeping their patients occupied. Lewis got a chance to witness how residents spend their time at a quality nursing facility when he met with Judy Oglesby, the Assistant Activities Director at Village on the Green. The patients even have a beautiful golden retriever named Missy to play with.
Tell me about this place.
Oh, this is a long-term care facility. Used to be called nursing home, and that's still all right, or health care center, which is what we call it. And I am the activities assistant.
Oh, wow.
This is where I work and play and have a good time.
So tell me about your job.
I'd like to, activities assistant means that I assist the activity director. Mm-hmm. And she's the one who is responsible for making up the monthly program calendar. That's what I wanted to show you. This is an example of one. I've outlined special events, but then there are things every day too that are rather routine, but they're important too. And she makes up this calendar, literally, and she schedules all of these events, which might mean inviting guests and entertainers and arranging for all of that, and getting the equipment and the decorations and the food and everything that we need. So I assist her with all of these things.
Tell me about the activities you have.
Oh, we're proud of them. In fact, our facility has had the gold seal in this state for the last 3 years, and that's a very rare special. I can best show you my tools of my trade.
Okay.
For example, here's a jigsaw puzzle. that we've partially worked. I wanted to show it to you because it's on wheels, and I can actually take this up to where a person is sitting if it's more comfortable for that person, because most of our activities we're bringing people to a certain place, and but sometimes it's easier for someone. And we use the small puzzles because they fit right on this table and they can be done quickly. And I feel that this gives people a sense of success. Don't you feel good when you finish a puzzle, you know? Now, in the middle of all that, we'll hope that we usually have Missy with us. Missy's usually right in the middle of everything. And she's usually being petted by somebody, and she'll stay there as long as somebody pets her. In fact, I've had people say to me, I can't pet her any longer, my arm hurts.
How many people do you work with?
This is a 60-bed facility, but we're never that full. We usually have about 48 people, and not every one of them do get involved in our activities. In fact, that would be one of our challenges, is to find something for everybody. Some people who are still alert and aware, they have their own friends visiting them, they can make their own phone calls, they work their own crossword puzzles and write their own letters and all of that. So there are some people that don't need us as much. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have the low functioning level of people that are more advanced in Alzheimer's probably. And that's another challenge, is to reach that group of people. We have games we call sensory, and these were actually made up from a Montessori. And so they're simple, but they're something that maybe a person can do still.
Tell me, how did you become involved in this?
Well, I was interested in healthcare of something, and so I went to the local community college and I took a course to become a certified nurse's aide, home health aide. And that's not required for this, but that's what got my foot in. And so I was working for an agency that was giving me assignments in this community, which is a retirement community. There are independent apartments and villas here too, as well as the health center. So I was in the right place at the right time to see the bulletin board when this opening came, and I thought, I can do that. And it didn't require any formal training, although I do attend in-services and things like that are required for all of our staff by our company. The biggest thing though was being for many years, off and on, many places where I lived, a volunteer in a health center. And that's what I would really recommend if anyone is interested in any kind of position in a healthcare center. Come and be a volunteer. We have a wonderful volunteer program here of teens from the high schools.
Really?
And they're coming and they're doing the community service toward the scholarship. So that's another one of my duties would be I help them. I would instruct them with our equipment and get them started, because they don't know who likes to play what or who will. And so I'll get them started with that, and then I'll fade away. And so volunteers, volunteens, in fact, that's a wonderful way to prepare for this.
A nursing home assistant activities director should be outgoing, patient, tactful, and encouraging. They must care about the residents. Judy learned of her passion through extensive volunteering and found that she receives joy and satisfaction by helping others. If you care about our elderly generation, how about calling a local nursing home to see in which way you can volunteer? Wouldn't it be great to know how you made someone smile? And who knows, maybe you could make a career out of it.
Missy and I will be right back. It's time for more Real Life 101.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show. We've shown you a few ways you can work to better your community. There are a lot more ways. You just have to keep your eyes open. And of course, watch more Real Life 101. So next week, we've got some more awesome careers lined up to show you. We'll meet a real estate attorney who is giving back to the world by spearheading a scholarship program for a very impoverished country in Africa. We'll also talk with a controller for a hotel and learn about his role in preparing financial reports and accounting. Then for all you wannabe professional singers, we'll show you a way to sing and cruise the world at the same time. So thanks for being part of Real Life 101. Tune in again next week when we ponder the age-old question, What do you want to do with your life?